Hi Leo, I'm Jody with Soul Purpose Tarot. I live in Carmel, Indiana. Welcome to my channel. If you've never been here before, normally what I do is I pull 4 or 5, 6, however many flop out tarot cards to kind of get an idea if we're talking about love or career or home life or health or whatever, and then get clarifiers from there. So let's get started and see what's going on with you guys. So this is going to be for December 1st through the 15th. And there's one. So the Two of Swords came up in reverse on the floor. So that tells me that you are stressed out about something. In angst. I keep hearing the word in angst about something. Agitated, angst, stressed, irritated. Okay, so the Empress in the reverse position came up. The first thing that popped up into my head, though, was like she represents your mother. So your mother is stressing you out, perhaps, which is very possible because, you know, we've just had Thanksgiving. We've got Christmas coming up. And there's 3 more cards. Okay, so let's stop there. We've got 5 cards. I can add more to it. Okay, so you're stressed out about something, feeling anxious, anxiety, whatever. And for whatever reason, I feel like this is a mother figure. Could be your mother-in-law, could be your mother, but some older woman is kind of pissing you off right now. Sticking her nose into your business that you don't want her in. And the Fool came up in reverse, and I feel like she's wanting you to start doing something. You need to start doing this because this is how I always did it. And she's wanting you to, like, I don't know if it's start a new tradition or something like that, and you're like not wanting to hear about it because I feel like whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, I feel like you're like, I don't want her controlling me. I feel like this is a control issue. And the 7 of Wands came up, which makes me feel like you're ready to fight about it. You're like, I don't want her to win. Whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, I feel like it's like you guys are button heads. And it's an ego thing more than anything. And this is going to be the end of a cycle. It's a new cycle starting or the end of a cycle with you and your mother or your mother-in-law, whoever this older generation is that is trying to insert herself into your life. Okay. So let's get some emotions. Just to clarify what kind of emotions we're dealing with here. That one wanted to come out. I keep hearing like standing up. It's like you're like, I want to stand up to her. I want to stand up to her, but you're afraid, very afraid to stand up to her for whatever reason, whoever this is, whether it's your mother-in-law or maybe it's your husband that needs to stand up to his mother or something. It just feels like there's an older woman who's trying to insert her values in on your life, and perhaps this is not how you want to raise your kids. It's not how you are doing things, and she's, you know, still trying to make things happen her way. So this is going to be a case of you trying to hold down your boundaries and also try to keep the peace at the same time, which is hard to do. Very hard. Yeah, I'm like, which is hard to do. Very hard to do. Keep your boundaries and keep the peace at the same time. But it is important, because all you're going to end up doing is resenting. Resentment isn't going to do you any good. So, okay. Let's see what we got here. So, trusting came up. Reliant, dependent, and believing. I feel like you trust this person, and you trust that they are trying to, okay, they have your best interest at heart. I feel like you believe they do have your best interest at heart, but you're still fighting them on the way they want to do it. You know, it's like you both want the same ending. You both want the same happy ending, but you want to go about it one way, and she wants to go about it at a different way. And you guys that's kind of what you guys are fussing and fighting about. And disappointed, actually, I feel like that needs to be up. You don't want to disappoint this person, especially if you want to do things your way and you don't go with what they say. I'm surprised the left out in the cold card didn't come up. So you're not feeling very peaceful right now, which I already said. And you're not feeling comforted. You're not very proud of, I feel like this is a case of you're fearful that you're going to say something and get yourself into some big trouble. And you're not, or maybe you already have said something and you're not proud of what you said or the way you handled it. Because this is kind of a delicate situation. It is trying to keep the peace where maybe peace shouldn't be kept anymore. What cards do I want to use? I'm going to use the numerology cards and see what Spirit has to say as far as, you know, anything that can be done. See if I can get some guidance on how to handle this. Okay, so I'm hearing, I love that idea. I love that idea. I love that idea. And this is your response to your mother or your mother-in-law. Starting out the conversation by saying, I love that idea. I love that idea. I love that idea. And then saying, but we decided we were going to try it this way this year just to see what happened. And worst case scenario is we go back to your situation or your suggestion or your whatever next year. One that makes you sound like you respect what she has to say and you value her opinion, but you're also not disparaging her. You're not making her look like she doesn't know what she's talking about because she has been around a little bit longer than you, and she probably does know a few things, and she probably had a mother or a mother-in-law that she had to deal with in her life too. So that just feels like what they're saying is just start out the conversation is like, I love that idea, but we thought we would try it this way this year just to see what happened, you know. Worst case scenario is we go back to your way next year if it bombs on us. And, you know, I don't know. Tell me what you think. Or tell me if that works or whatever. Okay, universe. Throw me some numerology cards here to help me get some clarity on perhaps how to handle this situation. Well, 4 of them came out, so let's see what came out. Perseverance. I do feel like that needs to be up. I feel like perhaps the first time you bring this up to this person, the way that you want to do things differently than what they want to do, it's going to get shot down. Persevere on that and keep trying. And again, how to win friends and influence people keeps coming up. You know, kind of like you have to make them feel like they are valued, because if you don't make them feel like they are valued, whether you do or not, you're just going to create problems for yourself. And the second one is put some effort into it, but I feel like that also needs to be in the upright position. So I feel like that is saying put some effort in whatever your idea is. And if there is any way whatsoever to include this mother or mother-in-law in the new way of doing things, to do that too. Give her a role to play so she doesn't feel like she is left out in the cold. I think that's one of the biggest things, is she is afraid that if you take everything away from her, she's not going to have a place in your guys' life anymore. And that's one of the reasons she's hanging on so tight, is fear of losing her family. So if there is any way whatsoever that you can say, well, we want to try it this way this year, but we would love for you to do this, that, or whatever, and include her in on that new way as much as possible, you're going to have a lot less resistance. Assure her that worst case scenario is you can go back to her way the next year. I mean, you're going to have to work on this a little at a time. So just be aware that you're trying to turn a boat that's been going this way an entire lifetime, and you're trying to turn it around to go this way. And it's not going to happen overnight. It may not happen this first holiday season that you try it doing your way. Maybe it's a different day that you're going to plan on having the holiday thing. Maybe it's a different food that you're going to have. Something different than the normal tradition is what is trying to get switched around here. So keep her in the loop and keep her busy, and that's going to keep her happy, which is going to keep you happy. Environment, again, I feel like that is keep her involved in the environment. Don't exclude her and just say, well, we'll handle everything. Do not say we will handle everything and then you just show up for dinner. Don't do that, because that's a very lonely position that you're putting her in, especially if she's been the one that has always done this in the past. And ask her, ask her what she would like to do. She may have, and ask her, is there anything that you've ever wanted to try that you never did? Now's your time to do it. Try to get her involved as much as possible is what they are saying. Don't exclude her and don't make her feel stupid. And that her traditional stuff that she has always done in the past doesn't mean anything to you, because that's how she's going to take it. So that's a very delicate thing that you're working on here. Healing. Let's see. My whispers of healing, if there's any other advice from the guides. Past loved ones. Your oversoul, your higher self, anybody else who has anything to say about this situation that can possibly help transition from old traditions to new traditions without rocking the boat too much. Sincere relationships. I feel like that goes along with including her in on this new way of doing things. Don't just go, hey, we got it handled, you just show up for dinner. Do not do that. And because one, it's going to sound like you sincerely want her involved, whether you do or not. Forward movement. So again, this first attempt at doing this is going to be a little bit forward movement. You may not get everything switched over to your way of doing things this first time. This is going to be something that's going to probably be a little bit slower progress than normal. But this is the first step towards it. And mental repetition. Not sure what mental repetition, other than I feel like that's not mental. Well, no. What they're saying is you would do this in every situation that she gives you resistance on, is you repeat this same type of thing every time you want to do something your way. You're trying to create new traditions and she's trying to hang on to the old traditions. You want to repeat this every time you want to try to switch things over to your way versus her way. That makes sense. Okay. And I have a new deck of cards here, the Sacred Power reading cards. I'm going to throw those in just to see what happens from there. This is obviously a very stressful time of year for a lot of people. So your guides are giving you clear advice on how to try to make things go your way. Okay, there's two more. Listen to your body. Okay, this goes along with that stomach ache that you've been having, that gut ache, that anxiety feeling, the headache that you've been having. Your body is trying to tell you you're anxious and you're stressing out about certain stuff. And so this is your advice on how to make that go away and commit to happiness. So again, this is going to be a first attempt probably of getting the ship from going one direction and shipping it over to another direction. But you're just going to have to kind of keep working on this for a while. It won't happen overnight. Okay, let's see what these Sacred Power reading cards have to say. I'm going to take two out, and I'll probably have to read from the book, which I normally hate to do, but I'm going to today if I have to. Sacred Power. So what can these guys do to bring in their sacred power? All right, there's two cards right there. Angel assistance. I don't think I need to read about that. Ask your guides for assistance. Ask your guides to talk to your mother or your mother-in-law's guides to make this transition easier. Don't mess it up by trying to do everything on your own. And the last one was transformation. So this is a transformation. The whole thing is a transformation from one way of doing things to a new way of doing things. I would be really interested if you watch this all the way to the very end, and if this applies to you, I would love to hear. If you have any kind of constructive criticism, I would also like to hear that too. I know this is kind of specific and it doesn't resonate with everybody, but if it resonates with you, I would love to hear that. I'm wishing everybody a great December. I will see you mid-December for the second half readings, and talk to you later.